Hey Taylor, how are you?
Good morning, Steven. I'm great. How are you doing, man?
Good to see you.
Good. It's been a little bit. You've
I
been
know.
world traveling a lot this year.
I know, man.
Love it.
Well, welcome everyone to the Real Investing Show, by the way, where we talk about all things real estate investing. And I've been traveling a lot. I just got back from Ethiopia, so I wanted to show you some pictures before our episode because it was really an impactful trip. And do you like coffee, or are you a tea guy?
Oh, coffee.
Listen, bro. First of all, I've been in multiple parts of the world where they claim that coffee originated there. So Yemeni people say that coffee came from there. There's a place called Mocha that's there.
Okay.
And then I think there's a city called Java in Ethiopia. Ethiopians claim that coffee was originated in Ethiopia. But listen, the best coffee I've ever had comes from Ethiopia. And
better than Starbucks.
Oh my gosh.
I'm glad I can get down there.
I'm so sorry. I wasn't expecting that. Do you I don't know, maybe Starbucks will be a sponsor one day, so what else to say? Is Starbucks on your regular rotation?
No.
Okay. I just want to know who I'm talking to.
So, there are a lot of people that are going to be listening right now going, what's wrong with Starbucks?
So I guess I'm a little bit of a coffee snob, but I'll drink any kind of coffee, but like I really like good coffee. So let me tell you what they do. They have what they call a coffee ceremony, and it's at 2 p.m. every day. And most homes do it. And they have a little setup where they bring out the green coffee beans. I'm talking about homes do this, businesses do this, restaurants do this. And everywhere you go between 2 and 4 o'clock, you're going to see people sitting in the streets. It's specifically an Ethiopian tradition. They'll be sitting in the street, they'll be sitting in their homes, and they just sit there and drink coffee. And they have a little table with all the cups on it. So anybody who comes along can like sit and drink coffee with them. They put these leaves, a certain type of branch on the ground. So you stand or you sit on it. And someone there, they have green coffee beans and they roast them right in front of you, right there. They grind them right in front of you. And they put it in this, and they're burning incense. So there's incense going on. And the incense we experienced the most was Somali incense. We worked with a lot of Somalis there. And so they're burning incense, and it's like this whole environment. You're sitting in a chair. The weather is perfect. Okay. It's like the weather's like 65 degrees. Everything's green, lush green. And they take the coffee and put it in these, I don't know, like a pitcher. And then they kind of brew it and boil it right there on the same coals that they roasted the beans on.
Okay.
And first of all, my Uncle Jim, he passed away like 2 years ago. But here's one thing I got from him. He said, Steven, there's no such thing as coffee too strong. There are only men that are too weak. And I always said that, and I always believed that. But I have to say now, my Uncle Jim never had Ethiopian coffee, or he could not say that.
Is it chewable?
It is so strong. It is so dark. They filter it really well, so it doesn't have the grounds in it like Turkish coffee does.
Let's say I've had Turkish coffee, which is
real strong. It's
chewable,
real strong, and the grounds are still in it.
Yeah,
this has 0 grounds. They filter it like crazy, but it has all the oils, and so you know it's like fresh, and it is dark, and they use these tiny little cups. And I don't ever put milk or sugar in my coffee. But in Ethiopia, I do because it's too much. And so what they do is they have the thing is you have at least 3 cups, and each cup is supposed to be more strong, like stronger each one you get. And it's like a cultural thing. You just sit there, you talk business, I mean, we went shopping one day
and then you lie awake with your eyes open until 3 a.m. Is that
So good, man. So good. It's so good. We
Oh
brought.
my gosh.
It's
I
not
don't know if like my cutoff time for coffee is around the 2-3 o'clock mark, and that's like American
too.
normal cup of coffee.
Yeah, me
Does
too.
that stuff not wire you up crazy later?
No, I don't know. It didn't seem to. It did in the moment, but I did not notice like
The long term.
I didn't notice not sleeping.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was because of jet lag or because of the excitement of being in another country, but yeah, man. Ethiopian coffee. It's the best coffee I've ever had, and I've had coffee from all over the world.
I mean, I can't help but notice that you didn't bring me any back. So
now wait a minute. Maybe we just haven't seen each other yet.
Oh,
Maybe I have some for you in my kitchen.
No way!
And maybe
I'll be by about 2 o'clock, and I
Okay.
expect you to be on the front porch roasting some beans for me.
So I have some roasted already. They're homemade roasted from a home in Ethiopia. But we'll make the exchange when you list the house. I've got a house I need you to list.
All right, and that'll give me the energy to
When we do the docs, you'll have to grind it yourself and stuff. But like, yeah, when we do the docs, I'll give you some Ethiopian coffee.
That's awesome.
It'll change your life. And
I can't wait to try it. I mean, obviously, a lot of coffee comes from Ethiopia, so I've had, Ethiopian origin coffee, but I've never had this, so I'll have to try.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the kind where when you go through and they ask you if you have any food items or something like that, you lie.
You're like, no,
I don't think so. Yeah, not that I recall. No, what are you talking about? No, I just have my bags. Like, anything you need to declare? I declare
I'm ready to be back home.
Yeah, I declare I'm real tired from jet lag. So, hey, let's talk. I didn't mean to hijack our time. I want to hear about this. You're doing a recent house flip, and you're like, it's going really well. So, can you give us a little bit of a case study, maybe like an 8-minute deep dive into your latest house flip?
Yeah. So, okay. So, we are in the process of remodeling a house that I think will probably be, I mean, based off the numbers and projections, will be by far and away the biggest flip we've ever done.
Come on, brother.
Projected profits like $200,000.
Dude, tell me all the details.
Yeah.
I want to know all the numbers.
All right. So
let's do the deep dive.
I found the deal through a wholesaler.
Okay.
And it was a wholesale deal that came across my inbox. And
did you know this wholesaler?
I've never worked with this wholesaler before. I just got on their list, and I've watched some things come across, and there have been deals pop up, and then this one popped up, and I was like, so it's on Boyd Street in Norman. And Boyd is a fairly major road that goes through the University of Oklahoma, and there's parts of it that have smaller houses and parts of it that have bigger houses. And so when it first came across, I thought, that's in an area where there's a lot of like 12 to 1,400 square foot homes. This probably isn't a great deal, but let me look into it because it was advertised as 2,800 square feet. And so I looked into it, and it was, I mean, trash, Stephen, total trash. Like I also bought this house sight unseen. I just saw they had a video walkthrough. They had a bunch of pictures. And I drove by, and this house needs so much work. But what was crazy is when I was pulling comps, most of the houses in this part are that 12 to 1,400 square feet. But there was a house that just sold like 3 months ago, 2 doors down, that was 2,400 square feet and sold for $440,000. So $440,000. For a 2,400 square foot house right down like 2 doors down. So I was like, that's a killer comp. And so I started looking into it more, and I'm like, man, I think we can get this. And so they were asking $110,000. Here's what's crazy. You're going to get a kick out of this. If you're a wholesaler, make sure you have your systems down right, because this is what happened. $110,000 is what they were asking, or best offer. It came up day one, and I thought, I really want this house. I looked at the numbers. I felt really comfortable with it. And so I was like, I want to jump on this house. So I offered $118,000. So they had this like click form. You fill out the form, you submit the offer. You're not talking to anybody. It's a nationwide wholesaler.
I was going to say, was this a local or
this isn't a local guy? So it was like, here's your form, and so I went through, filled out the form, and put in $118,000. Didn't hear back for a couple of days. Thought, I didn't get it. No big deal. Like keep looking for the next one. And then about 4 days later, I get another alert for $105,000. And like they've come back and they've lowered the price now to 105. And I'm like, okay, well, clearly no one else offered on this, so maybe I can get this for 105.
So they just lost $13,000 by not having good systems.
Correct. So I made an offer for 105, didn't hear back, get another email alert like a few days later, like at 105. And I'm like, okay, let me call this guy. So I call this guy and get him on the phone and negotiated it to $97,000.
No.
Yeah. So I got
you made 20 grand
just off them, like not like I was clearly willing to pay more.
You made 20 grand because they stink.
Yeah. So it was one of those opportunities you're like, hey, I'll take it. So how
did your heart let you continue with that negotiation when everything in you wanted to buy it for 118 or 115?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like, how do you go hardball and go, man, I don't know, I'm gonna have to give you 97, and internally you're like, or 120?
Because I always like to ask questions like, hey, where are you? Like, they hadn't had any other offers, so I felt like that fear of missing out, which is the piece that you've got to control for that, was pretty well gone because they didn't have other offers in. And I don't know if that just meant their system was broken. I don't know how many people made offers, but I also picked up the phone and called. And so I just asked like, hey, what do we have to get this deal together? I can close as is. Whereas he was having a hard time coordinating with the owners to get a walkthrough. And I said, and I was like, hey, if I'm willing to buy this sight unseen, I don't need a walkthrough, can we lock this deal up at 97? And he agreed to it, and we did. So I bought it sight unseen. Actually, what's funny is I closed on it, and then there was a rent back in place where the previous owners were staying in the house for, I think, 2 or 3 more weeks. So I closed on it and didn't even see the house for like 3 weeks after closing. Yeah. But then once we got in there, they had actually cleaned out all of their stuff. And when I make an offer, it's kind of a hoarder house situation or a big, there's a lot of stuff in there and junk. I usually go in and I calculate to have all of that stuff removed. I just factor that into my cost. And I tell the people, like, you take whatever you want and leave the rest, and I'll take care of it. Right. Yeah. So I try to make it as easy on them as possible. And I just factor that into my closing costs or my rehab costs. I got in there and they had taken everything except the baby grand piano that they couldn't move.
Wow.
And so it was a clean slate. The house had been added onto, and actually in getting in there, it's not 20. It was like just shy of 2,800 square feet is what they were advertising. It's actually 3,000 square feet because there's this enclosed porch that had already been made part of the house that they weren't including in that square footage. So it's actually a 3,000 square foot house. My comps put it at like 550 on the back end. Ooh. We're going to put, 150 grand into this place. And
have you closed on it already?
I'm sorry.
Have you closed on it already? You've already bought it?
We've bought it, and we are just this week starting the project. We're finishing up another project and moving over this week to it. And we're doing a complete, because if you go like a block and a half down the other way, there's like 3 houses that are all over $1 million. Right. And so like, this is like right on the edge of a kind of transition. So it can support that higher end price point Where if you went a couple blocks the other way, it wouldn't be able to support it because it's all like 1,200 square foot homes that are all around 200,000.
Dude, what do you think about this for the Real Investing Show? What if you take pictures and videos every week and we give updates to people how it's going, and then when you're done, because this could be like one of you. I mean, we know. Here's what we know. We know if you're doing wholesaling or fix and flip or rentals, whatever, you're looking for base hits, but every once in a while you hit a home run.
Right.
And you're not trying for the home run. You hope for it, but like you're just going to get a base hit.
100%.
But this could be like,
this will probably be 3 times the best flip I've ever done.
Yeah.
Right. Roughly. And
$150,000 rehab. Like people don't realize too, $150,000 rehab, a lot of that is not more work. It's just higher end work.
That's right.
That's the thing. It's like with different types of flooring, different types of countertops. And so it's not like,
well, and this was the house that a lot of people would have been scared of, right? There was junk everywhere. The house had been added on to, so it doesn't flow well in its current stage. They had like done some electrical work. They had done some drywall work, but there's like walls opened up and wires hanging down.
Yeah.
Right. And so it scared the roof literally has some shingles flying off. So it scared a lot of people. But for me, I'm like, okay, if we're changing the layout, I'm pulling that wall down anyhow. If I'm pulling that wall down anyhow, I'm redoing electrical. If I at the end of the day, it's all getting done, whether it looks good in the beginning or it looks scary in the beginning, it's all still getting done.
Yeah. And the things that look the scariest, usually they don't always cost that much. I mean,
that's true.
But yeah. So what I hear you saying is like, if you're going to have to do a certain amount of work anyway, it doesn't matter if it looks really bad or if it looks just not good. I mean, some houses, like you could get a house that's like perfect condition from 1978.
Yep.
And everything has to be done. Everything has to be done.
That's what I think a lot of flippers early on, that's what they're comfortable with. So there's a lot of people that are willing to take that house that's dated and they can just see like, oh, I'm just going to paint it. I'm just going to put flooring in. I'm going to update the light fixtures, maybe swap out the countertops and hardware, right? Or I can go into a house that smells like a farm and like is
that was such a gentle way to say it. That was such a gentle way to say it. When you said it smells like, a certain number of adjectives and descriptors were flowing through my mind. And a farm was not on the list.
I don't know where it came from, but I mean, you've been in houses that smell worse than farms.
Oh yeah, man.
But when it reeks and there's holes in the walls and there's filth all over the walls. Well, people are like, oh, this is disgusting. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? You're going to paint it. You're going to put the flooring in it. You're going to replace the light fixtures. You're going to replace the countertops. You're going to replace the hardware. Like it's the same process, but people can go from relatively nice to nice in their head, but they can't go from really bad to nice in their head. Yeah. So those are where the opportunities lie. So I'll have to I'm actually, now that you say that, I want to go back and pull pictures.
Yeah.
The pictures and video that I had to buy, that I ended up buying this house off of and save those because I bought it.
Chronicle the whole thing. Please chronicle the whole thing. And next week, we should make it, until you get done, we should make it like a short segment of our Real Investing Show.
Okay.
Let's give a quick update on
what's going on.
Boyd House. Let's call it the Boyd House segment or something.
Okay.
What do you think?
I love it.
That's good. I've got to go to another appointment. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and share. This is Stephen Earp and the great Taylor Davis with the Real Investing Show.